The periodic table is an important tool, and there are several ways to look at it to get important information. So we've looked at the periodic table to consider what are the metals and the nonmetals. And we know that hydrogen is the only nonmetal to the left of this stair-step line. And that, so metals are to the left of the line, except for hydrogen. Nonmetals are to the right. And every element touching the stair-step line, except for aluminum, is sometimes considered to be a metalloid. So boron, silicon, germanium, arsenic, antimony, tellurium, polonium, and astatine can be considered to be metalloids. That's one way of looking at the periodic table. Another way is to consider the columns as being grouped together in a column because the elements share similar characteristics. The last column here is a group that has a family name called the noble gases, also known as the inert gases. Why are they all in the same family? Because they have similar characteristics. To the left of them, we have the halogens. And then here we have group 2 are the alkaline earth metals. And then to the very left, we have the alkali metals. Hydrogen is placed here, but it is not a metal, so it is not a member of that alkali metal family. Hydrogen also has a second spot on the periodic table here next to helium, but that doesn't make it a halogen either. So that's a second way to look at the periodic table. Another way that'll be important for us this semester is to consider the main group elements, which here are all colored in yellow. They have some properties, some periodicity that we will look at when we consider periodic trends. And then here, between the second and third column, we have the transition metals. Those will be important when we take Chemistry 1B. The last thing that I would like to say about the periodic table is something about the numbering. So, So there are 3 ways to consider the numbers. Here we have Group 1, Group 1A, and Group 1A. So starting with just what's on the top, we can see that the columns can be labeled 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Up to column 18. The noble gases are column 18 on this periodic table. A second way to look at it is to consider the second number. For the main group elements, the groups are labeled as A's. So this is 1A, 2A, 3A, 4A, 5A, 6A, 7A, 8A. All the main group elements or representative elements are called A's. And the transition metals are labeled as B's. 1B, 2B, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and all 3 of these are 8. A third way to consider it, which you don't see much anymore, is that these would all be A's. So 1A, 2A, 3, etc. These are 8. And that these would all be B's. 1B, 2B, 3B, 4B, up to 8B. So just know that when people are referring to the periodic table, that there may be some A's and B's. And, for example, Group 8 and Group 18, those are both the noble gases, just different ways to number that table. Okay, so enjoy the periodic table.